Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back here to review another episode of NBC's Emerald City. This video is all about Season 1, Episode number 10, entitled No Place Like Home. So pretty much we spent the entire season listening to the wizard talking about the beast forever, and he believed, or at least he told his people, that the beast forever was the witches. Although, on a side note, after watching this episode a second time, I truly believe that he knew who the beast forever was, but he was using the witches, obviously, as a scapegoat. So said beast forever turns out to be that thing that was stuck in the tree in the prison of the abject. It was that thing that was like made of muscle or whatever. And Nahara, Ojo's wife, leveled with that beast and begged for her husband Ojo's life. Because remember, in episode 9, that thing knocked Ojo out. And Nahara in this episode is begging for that thing to leave her husband alive because he knows how to free you. Meanwhile, the beast forever grabs a meat suit or a skin suit that was hanging above his head and cuts it open and puts it on like it's like a full jumpsuit. And I'm sitting there like, oh, freaked out, like, ugh. So Ozma, West, and her witches all storm Emerald City. And in this scene, Ozma learns a lesson about leading as a queen, and fear is basically the way to do it. The wizard and his men are at war with the kingdom of Ev. The wizard learns that Dorothy is in control of the stone giants. He tells Dorothy because of this that he will send her home if she stops Glinda. And then he shows Dorothy his arsenal of guns, and Dorothy's just upset. She's like, what are you doing with all these guns? He's like, oh, it's your fault. You know, you showed me that handgun, so this is where I got this idea. And he claims that he'll be, or his men will be using those guns on the little girls. And Dorothy's like, please don't do that because these girls are not thinking for themselves. They're doing everything Glinda tells them to. So Ozma faces the man who killed her parents, aka Eamon. And Eamon reveals that he let her live because he has a daughter her age. So Ozma asks for Eamon's family to be brought to her. And I'm sitting here wondering what the hell is she about to do to his family, and what she ends up doing is far worse than killing them. She takes away their memories of Eamon and his whereabouts. So when they see Eamon, they're just like, who the heck is this guy? She tells him, you took my family, so I took yours. And she casts him out of Emerald City to walk and live as the beast that he has become. So West hands Ozma her crown, and she fully accepts her role, and by she I mean Ozma, fully accepts her role as queen and puts Tip aside for now. Jane chases behind Jack, and she's trying to stop him from killing the wizard. And in doing so, she comes upon the wizard, who starts talking about Jane's daughter. And I'm like, who the heck is Jane's daughter? And then it's revealed that Dorothy is Jane's daughter. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't Karen Chapman supposed to be her daughter? I need answers here. Like, what is going on? So Jane approaches Dorothy, who is a little bit like weary or leery of her. And to make a long story short, just as they're about to start talking, all of a sudden this swarm of locusts comes up from the other side of the mountain and descends upon the camp. Dorothy and the men find themselves surrounded by these locusts buzzing around and swarming around, and all of a sudden this hole opens and the locusts form this frozen tornado-like shape. And here comes Glinda. And Glinda learns that Dorothy animated the giants. Dorothy tells her to go north, and Glinda is not about to go north. And basically, Glinda ends up using little Sylvie, aka Lathe, to throw Dorothy off. And Sylvie destroys the stone giants because obviously she's fully gone. She's lost to Dorothy. She won't even listen to Dorothy anymore. She is all into Glinda and what Glinda's doing at this point. To get back at Glinda for destroying the stone giants, Dorothy uses the power of the gauntlets to make the stone giant that is still standing in Emerald City basically destroy the witch's mausoleum that's right outside of the wizard's castle. So the wizard ends up shooting Sylvie. A battle ensues between the witches and the guards, which is an awesome sequence because there's like some sort of like mist or fog, and then you see the guards shoot, and there's like this like explosion of kind of red on top of the white garments that the witches make, and it's just the way they fall. That whole sequence is just, as violent as it is, it's a very beautiful sequence. That's the one thing I love about Emerald City: the colors, the direction, the cinematography, and the way that things are positioned. All of it is beautiful. So Jack gets shot and stabbed and tortured while all of this is going on. So Glinda blames Dorothy for this because Dorothy chose the wrong side, the wizard side. Dorothy walks away, uses her power to basically move away all of the guards to stop them from killing the rest of the witches. And she makes it to the wizard, who is surrounded by guards, and kind of just like moves them out of the way. And she tells the wizard she'll shoot him. And he says, if you do that, you'll be stuck in Oz forever. So all of the dead witches rise, including Sylvie. They rise like the Walking Dead and gather around the mistress of the North, saying, "Mistress, mistress." And Glinda reveals only a witch can kill a witch. In other words, wizard, your stupid bullets and guns can't kill the witches. Now, Dorothy would be able to do it, but you can't do it. And the wizard starts talking about how the witches are the beast forever. And I love how Glinda says, "We are not the beast forever, you fool." And I started laughing when I saw it. The wizard's upset because his guns don't work. And then we see the beast forever in his full skin suit. We see him from behind, and it looks like something is pushing out of his skin. And then these big, large bat wings just spread from his back. Mistress North, her witches, Dorothy, and the wizard all return to Emerald City. And it's pretty funny because literally Dorothy snatched off the wizard's wig because he barely has any hair left. And I'm laughing because I keep thinking about that scene when he's sitting down, and I think it's the first 2 episodes, and he takes off his wig. And all these people on Twitter are like, "Thank God he took that struggle wig off. I was tired of looking at it." Cracked me up. But anyway, back to the review. So the mistress North, Glinda, sees that the mausoleum was destroyed, and she and her witches go inside of the kingdom, the palace, and they see West, who tells Glinda that she has taken Emerald City and that she and Glinda are on the same side. And Glinda's just like, she will take back what belongs to us and rebuild. In other words, Glinda is not here for this joint fight with North and South versus the wizard, or North and South ruling the kingdom. She wants to do it herself. So it's revealed by West that Ozma lives, Tip being Ozma. And West basically says that Ozma is a gift to us all and we can stand side by side. But again, Glinda's not here for that. She wants to do this her own way. And West is just like, "Glinda, I know that you will be just like the wizard if you rule, and you will try to divide all of us again, and we don't need that." So West tries her best to make a truce with North. But then something happens. You hear this rumbling, and all of a sudden the beast forever is unleashed. So clearly Ojo helped that thing escape, or maybe Nahara used her magic to help Ojo help that thing escape. I don't know, but that thing is flying and it's out. So Dorothy has had enough of this mess. So she basically tells the wizard, "Listen, I'm going to send you back home so that you can live your life outside of Emerald City, because clearly he's doing more good than damage at this point." So the wizard reveals that Dorothy's mom is here in Oz, and Dorothy's like, what the hell do you mean? Because my mom is Karen Chapman, and she's at home, and she's injured. And he reveals that he sent his men to kill Karen. And Jane ends up shooting the wizard because Dorothy points her gun at him, but before she can fire, I think somebody yells, no, that's probably Jane, and all of a sudden the wizard gets shot under here, and then it appears like this dude is dead. And Dorothy's pissed off. She's like, who are you, to Jane? Who gave you the right to do this? And Jane reveals that she gave Dorothy to Karen 20 years ago. She's her mother, and Dorothy is skeptical about her. And then Jane starts talking about the tattoos, the 3 or the 5 dots on Dorothy's hand. And she said that she put them there to find Dorothy in case Dorothy was lost. Jane tells Dorothy that they both have to leave, and Jane says that she built that chamber that the wizard was about to use, that he quote-unquote could not use to help send her home, despite the fact of telling Dorothy for the past couple episodes, if you kill Glinda, I can send you home, but this dude had no idea how to use that machine. So Jane reveals that the wizard took that machine for himself. She tells Dorothy to just go inside and hold on, and she will be right behind her. And then she closes the chamber door and tells Dorothy that she made a promise to protect Dorothy and will do it until the day that she dies. So by the time Dorothy makes it back to reality, the here and now, she is lying down outside of Karen's trailer. Everything is destroyed. Karen passed out, and all that red stuff on the ground, I think, is wine or tomato sauce or something. It's not blood. It took me to watch that scene 2 times to realize that. Another scene pops up, and we're back at that beautiful rainbow thing hanging in the window, which reminds me so much of Wizard of Oz when Dorothy, if memory serves, looks outside of her window and she sees a rainbow. If memory serves. Anyways, in a new scene, Dorothy is sitting down. She's trying to eat. She feels like she has no appetite. We see that rainbow thing hanging in the window again, and it just looks so beautiful the way that the light hits it. And Dorothy just gets up off of her chair. She leaves the kitchen, and this is also after seeing the scarecrow outside of her window, and she grabs her keys. She's about to leave the house when she sees Aunt Em. And Aunt Em sat her down, and through their conversation, Dorothy reveals that she was gone from our reality for 10 minutes. It seemed like about 4 or 5 days that she was in Oz, but apparently time moves faster there than it does here. We notice, and Dorothy notices, that Aunt Em's fingers are darkened, and they remind us of the Wicked Witch, or the Mistress of the West. And Aunt Em says that they were darkened by walnut cracking. I was like, My grandpa used to crack walnuts years ago, and I never remember his fingers being that dark. I mean, he's been dead since 2003. He used to crack those walnuts back in the 90s, but I never remember his fingertips being as dark as my shirt here. So Dorothy sees Toto, and she is kind of reuniting with him, and then we see like Lucas standing behind her, and it looks so creepy. And I'm with Dorothy. I would have been scared as well, seeing this dude standing behind me, like, is he gonna kill me? And despite the fact that he says he won't hurt her, I'm still with her, he's still creepy in that scene. Anyway, he reveals that Dorothy's mom, Jane, sent him to Kansas to get Dorothy. The Beast Forever has Dorothy as a prisoner, and Lucas came to bring Dorothy home. And as they look at one another, in the distance on the left side, you see a storm brewing. This episode, episode 10, was the best episode out of all 10 episodes in this entire season, which is why I truly believe that this series needs a second season. NBC, for the past, I would say, 5 years, has been trying to fill that time slot on Fridays at 9 p.m. with supernatural shows, from Hannibal to Dracula to Constantine, just trying to fill that spot, fill that void. Hannibal lasted for 3 seasons, Dracula made it for 1 season, and Constantine, despite how good that series was, couldn't hold an audience because everybody was thinking of the movie and not the Hellblazer comic book series. Emerald City is a new take on the story of the Wizard of Oz, but it's a more adult take, which is unseen because everything having to do with the Wizard of Oz is always family oriented. When I went to the panel at New York Comic Con, I made the decision to do so because normally I would go to the Walking Dead panels and just sit in that all day, but I just decided after finding out that Kelly Sue DeConnick, who writes an awesome graphic novel series called Bitch Planet, was hosting the panel, and I was literally like up at like 1 o'clock in the morning looking at my phone, and I found out about Timeless, Midnight Texas, and Emerald City. And I had already known after The Wiz aired that NBC had greenlit Emerald City, and they had said that Tarsem Singh was going to direct the series. So I was down for it, and as soon as Vincent's name was, Vincent Donofrio, was attached to the series, that's when I was gung-ho, and that panel was amazing. The Emerald City AOL Build series was amazing, and through that I was able to meet Vincent Donofrio, an actor who I have been a fan of since I was about 15 years old. So it's been a long time. So, I mean, the ball is in NBC's court at this point, but I do believe that the show deserves a second chance, and I also believe that the fans will follow this show. It just needs to be advertised more because I live on the East Coast. Emerald City was everywhere on the East Coast. If you went to San Diego Comic-Con, Emerald City was in that. They advertise all in that convention. New York Comic-Con, but I feel like it needs to be advertised more in the Midwest, down south, and more in other places that are not usually advertisers' dreams, if you will. But anyway, you all take care. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that NBC will renew this show. But if they decide, and I hope they don't, but if they decide not to renew this show, then I am proud that I was able to watch 10 episodes of a very awesome series. On top of the fact that this show has been trending on Twitter for the past 5 or 6 episodes, and on Friday they were #1. And they trend until about 2 or 3 in the morning, so those are basically the West Coast people watching the show and tweeting up a storm. But you all take care. For those of you who subscribe to my channel and the new people who have stumbled onto this video, I have 2 24 Legacy reviews to do and 1 Walking Dead review to do as well. I love you all. Take care. Bye, guys. Bye.